Really pleased to be joined by a Knoxville native who is enjoying a tremendous amount of success. Of course, former Daytona 500 winner and a proud Knoxville native. Trevor Bayne joins us here on Sports Talk on the Sports Animal. Hey, Trevor, it's Vince Ferrara here in Knoxville. Hope you're doing well. How you doing, Trevor?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, Trevor, and it was good to see you out there, the Coca-Cola 600. How would you assess your first of all, your opportunity to be out there in Charlotte racing this past Memorial Day weekend?
Well, the opportunity was great, but the finish wasn't so much. We struggled pretty bad this weekend. We just couldn't get the car to hook up really tight in the center and then loose up off. So when you struggle with that much, it's kind of hard to get speed out of it, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do that, and we just, like I said, we struggled and ended up finishing 24th. But, you know, it seemed like a lot of good cars were struggling this weekend for some reason. Tony Stewart ended up 25th, Logano 23rd. So there were some pretty good teams that we were surrounded by, but we just didn't get a good handle on it.
Is that a track where if you don't have that handle that you're looking for from the beginning, is it really difficult to where it really separates the elite cars from everyone else who has some issues? Is that one of those tracks that really maybe magnifies that?
You know, I would say so. Last year there, it's kind of crazy because we were running top 5, ran out of fuel, and then we come back this time, tried to bring the same exact setup, and the car was completely different, or the track had changed that much. And I was talking to Kozlowski, and he said the same thing. Last time they were in really bad, and this time they finished fifth. So I think the track just changes a lot. And, you know, I think if you're a top 10 car and have some speed, then you can definitely dial it in to be a winning car. But to take a top 25 car and make it a top 5 car would be a kind of a stretch. And just it's hard to dial it in that much because everybody else is working on theirs as well, and the track's cooling off and changing a little bit. So we just struggle getting speed out of it for some reason, and that's one thing that you can't really find once the race starts.
Joined by Knoxville native and former Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne here on Sports Talk on the Sports Animal. I'm Vince Ferrara. Josh Ward will join us in a couple minutes. We're in for John and Jimmy today. Jimmy Himes down in Destin. John Wilkerson off today. Will be back tomorrow. Trevor, how early in a race can you tell when some of the cars are just elite on a different level from the rest of the group? How early in a race can you tell that?
You can tell it pretty quick. I mean, even in practice, you can kind of tell who the best cars are going to be just off the speed charts and how they're driving. You know, sometimes the fastest cars in practice aren't necessarily the best race cars. They just go out there and run a couple laps at a time and go fast, but once the race starts, they fall off. But I would say after the first green flag run, you can really tell a lot. You know, I'd say somebody in the top 10 is definitely going to be one of the contenders. But every now and then you'll have that guy that works on his car, and the track changes kind of to his liking and his car's liking, and he'll drive from the back to the front. I mean, we saw that with Jeff Gordon and Carl Edwards, who went laps kind of early, were able to get their laps back and then be able to drive up to the top 10. So, you know, it can definitely change as the race goes on.
Trevor, you're involved in the 2012 Ford AAA Student Auto Skills Competition. Tell everyone about that.
Well, yeah, it's something that's really cool. We were involved in it a little bit last year with Rouse Fenway, but this year the Wood Brothers have gotten involved, and Ford and AAA have this thing. It's a skills competition for automotive. You know, it's students who are juniors and seniors in high school can compete to win the national championship. And first, there's about 10,000 entries that do an online competition. The best from that go into a statewide competition. And what they do is they take a Ford Fiesta and they put some bugs in it on purpose. And then those students have to try to figure out what's going on with it and diagnose the problem and fix it. And then the best, you know, students from that, the best people who compete, go into the national finals. And the finalists from that, the people that win, they're going to come to the racetrack with us, actually, along with some scholarship programs that Ford and AAA do. And then they're going to go to the racetrack with us and hang out for the July race in Daytona.
Wow, that is a lot of fun. Let's see, nearly $12 million in scholarships that have been given out already in automotive technology, and you're going to be there. You're actually going to be working with some of these young minds. So you're going to be the veteran. Is that what I understand among the kids?
I guess so. It's kind of weird when they're almost the same age as me. You know, they probably know more about cars than I do, and I've been around them my whole life. So it might be a little bit weird, but cars are changing a lot. You know, they've got to know a lot about the computers along with the mechanical stuff. So They probably got me beat on the computer side of it, but, I think I can hang with them on the mechanics side.
I think so, Trevor. Trevor Bayne joining us here on Sports Talk on the Sports Animal. If you want more information on how to be a part of that for you young drivers, it's autoskills.aaa.com, and you can be a part of that. It's a national competition June 10th through the 12th, and you can get more information there online. Trevor, has this season for you, I know you knew the situation that you had where you didn't know fully what your schedule is going to be like, or maybe exactly how many races. You knew you'd be limited in some form or fashion, but has it gone the way you anticipated, different? How do you view the season that you've been able to have so far?
We've run 5 points races in the Cup Series, 6 including the All-Star race, and we've already had 2 top 10s. So, at one point we were 2 out of 4 have been top 10s, and I think that's a pretty good performance from a team that's part-time. I'd be happy if we keep running top 10 in the half of our races, but I'd love to be going for wins, and that's what's so hard is with a competitive personality and with a group of guys that want to win races, it's hard as a part-time organization to go out there and do that because we're not there every weekend working on it, getting better and better. We still can do that, and we've done it before, but it definitely puts a little bit of strain on us racing only once or twice a month, and we'd love to get that number up to where we're racing all the time if we could find some funding. But, I've been okay with our performance on the track, but it's definitely been tough having to watch more races on TV than I've been in. So hopefully we can get that fixed soon.
How is Trevor Bayne, the race car driver, different or better now than he was going into the Daytona 500? What are some specifics?
Oh, man. Well, I'm more busy now, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, I think winning is always a good thing for us just to build our confidence and our team's level of, support for each other. So winning that 500 was a huge blessing in that area. But for me, I think it's the support that I've gotten from the community in that, from all the way from NASCAR officials down to other drivers. And just like I said before, my team believes in me that I can win now. And, that's not always necessary to have that, but it definitely helps when you have them behind you and you all can all work together as a team. So for me, it just gives me a little bit more confidence going out there. But it also adds a little bit of pressure because we've won once now, and now everybody's looking for number 2 to back it up, and that's what we're trying to do.
So do people in the garage treat you differently this year as opposed to last year?
Not really. I mean, last year, when it was kind of new, I think it was a little different. Right after we had won, it was a little bit different because everybody's wondering, man, what's going to happen with this kid? What's going to happen with this team? Is some sponsor going to come on board, and now they're running full-time? And I think when that didn't happen, then the expectations kind of settled out and went back to reality a little bit. But I would definitely, last year I ran full-time and nationwide, which helped me out a lot being at the track every weekend. So that's the biggest difference this year is that I've got weekends where I have to go stand in the spotter stand and watch. And I think that builds respect, too, though, the fact that we want to be there and we're showing that we want to learn and get better every weekend, even if we're not racing. I think that goes a long way.
Joined by Trevor Bayne here on Sports Talk. I'm Vince Ferrara, and for John and Jimmy, Josh Ward will join us in a couple minutes. So do you see the track differently? Are you anticipating things, moves from other drivers? Do you see things happening on the track different now than maybe early in your rookie year?
For me, as far as how they race me, I haven't seen much different. I think they always race hard, and it's a lot of give and take that goes on, though, and that's one thing I've learned from the time I got there nationwide. Growing up short track racing, you just really try to put it on each other every lap, even if you're racing for 10th and it's lap 50 of a 250-lap race. You race like it's for the win, and in the Cup Series, they do it a little bit differently. 50 laps into it, if you're way faster than a guy, then normally he'll let you go a little bit, or they expect you to let them go sometimes. But now when it's down to 50 to go and you're at the end of a 400-mile race, it definitely heats up a little bit and gets crazy out there. But it's kind of been the same for me since I've gotten there. I just had to learn that at first.
What was the All-Star race like for you? What kind of experience was that?
Well, the All-Star was something different. You have the segments that you're racing, and then you also have the total 90 laps that you're racing against. So if I could do it differently, I'd just go back and look at that total 90 laps and figure out the best way to get to the front by the end instead of saying, okay, I got 20 laps to get this far, and then, you reset, you got 20 laps. Because I kind of raced at like 5 different races, and like I said, looking back at it, I'd go more for that 90-lap stint and try to make it work. But our car we struggled, like I said, we came back to Charlotte this year. our cars seem to be a little bit different, a little bit tighter. The aero package obviously changed when they shortened the side skirts on the sides of the cars. It changes the whole balance, and so you got to change your package. And it seems like it has definitely benefited the Hendrick team some and hurt our cars a little bit, but we'll figure out how to make them go fast again. And hopefully next year, if I get the chance to run the All-Star, we'll have a better showing in it.
There was a lot of discussion, and some people weren't exactly happy with the format and wanting to improve it in some way. Do you like the setup, the format for the All-Star race? How would you improve it?
Well, I like the setup as far as the 20 laps and then the 10 laps at the end. What I might think about, what they maybe should think about doing is, I thought it was crazy that Dale Jr. raced so hard for 4 stints, and then he finally wins, and then he gets to start fourth. It seems like the guy that wins the first stint should start fourth. They should invert it. The guy that wins the fourth one starts on the front. The guy that wins the first one starts fourth, and maybe that would make somebody race all 4 pretty hard to try to get that win so that they can move on up and get a better starting position, or take the average finish of everybody and, determine that for your top 4. If you win a race or you win one of the stints and they take your average position, and that's where you start in the top 4, maybe that would help it out, because I know everybody wants to see their driver racing the whole time.
Hey, Trevor, it's Josh Ward. It's good to talk to you. I'm curious, with Bristol, the track surface changes are just about done. When you found out what they were going to do to the track, what was your reaction, and what are you curious to find out about it when you actually get to race on the track?
Honestly, since they didn't change the bottom 2 grooves, I don't think it's going to be that much different for us. The top might change a little bit on entry to the corner, but normally we kind of stay to the bottom or that middle and not necessarily run right against the wall in the Nationwide cars. Unfortunately, I'm not racing Cup there this time, but I will be in the Nationwide car. So I'm looking forward to going back there and seeing how it is. But, I didn't really think too much about it when they changed it, because last time they made a pretty dramatic change to the banking and to the track, and it's still a fun place to go. So I think it's going to be awesome this time when we go back.
Yeah, and I know a lot of your friends, a lot of Bristol fans because they've been to the track a lot of the time. What kind of reaction did you see from them over the last few years as we saw the original track change, 5 years ago?
Well, as a driver, I enjoyed the old track just because the way it sits down in the corner, it was kind of like a roller coaster. You'd go down the front stretch, and then you'd hit the change in the banking and just land down in there, and hopefully you hit the bottom. And now it's definitely more racy. I thought more racy for the fans because we could go 1, 2, 3 wide and make passes and make ground. I just think, fans and people in general are quick to forget what it used to be like. The grass is always greener, I guess you could say. Same thing with the pack drafting or the tandem drafting or whatever. All of a sudden everybody thinks, oh, man, it was way better back then. But there was a reason they changed it and made it to where you could race 2 and 3 wide and be able to pass. And now they're going to go back to that, more single-file style racing where you see more wrecks and stuff like that. But, I guess we'll just keep trying to chase it and make it the best we can. And NASCAR's always doing a great job of listening to the fans and trying to make our racing better.
Joined by Trevor Bayne, driver of the number 21 Ford and Wood Brothers Racing here on Sports Talk on the Sports Animal. Vince Ferrara and Josh Ward. So, Trevor, what's your upcoming schedule? What can you tell us and our fans listening and your fans listening what your upcoming schedule might be?
Well, the next race is Michigan, so I'm looking forward to that, going to the new pavement, going really fast, I guess. I heard that they were at speeds up to 218, so that sounds pretty crazy to me, but I'm looking forward to it. And so that's the next race, and we have Indy on the schedule, Chicago's on the schedule, Atlanta. We've got some good races coming up, so I can't wait to get out there. And then, like I said, the Bristol Fall Race in the Nationwide car is my next one in that series, and we're going to try to make the most of it.
Are the marriage proposals, have they slowed down just a little bit?
They slowed down a little bit. You gotta run top 5 more often, I guess, to keep those coming. So I'll have to work on that.
How is T-Bane21 enjoying Twitter? Do you get into that much?
I get on there and look every now and then, but I try not to be too crazy on it. I'll tweet maybe once every day or two, and then just try to give everybody something. But I definitely am not one of the craziest guys on there. I don't keep up with Kenny Wallace or Michael Waltrip, that's for sure.
Well, Trevor, we really appreciate it. For more information on the 2012 Ford AAA Student Auto Skills Competition, where you can get to work with Trevor Bayne in that competition if you advance, all you have to do is go to autoskills.aaa.com for more information. It should be a lot of fun. Hey, Trevor, good luck in Michigan. We'll be watching you. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on with us today.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. That is Trevor Bayne joining us here on Sports Talk.